Winter is coming. It's going to be a cold winter this winter, and I don't think a lot of us are ready for it. And there's kind of two approaches to viewing winter. You can either shy away from it or you can embrace it. But why is this winter in particular going to be cold? Why is Europe going to be so cold? It's largely because of a bunch of factors, but it's because of the war in Ukraine. So Europe is pretty dependent upon Russia for natural gas. There's the Nord Stream pipeline, where it's like gas from Russia is going towards Western Europe. But because of the war in Ukraine, that gas stopped coming. And so Europe is at a shortage this winter, and it's going to be a cold winter. All the authorities are telling people you need to prepare. The price of firewood has skyrocketed in Europe. Also, let's think about the nature of what cold is. What is cold? Is cold the opposite of heat? No. Cold is actually the absence of energy. It's the absence of heat, in the same way that good and evil are not opposites. Evil is a lack. Evil is a lack of good. Evil is a lack of God. And that's what Augustine says in his Confessions. So we don't believe in dualism. It's not equal opposite, the yin and yang. It's more so that cold is a lack. So as this world becomes colder, there is more of a lack of things. Another thing that we will be lacking in is gas. Here in the US, elections are happening and the price of gas has decreased. And why is that? It's because Joe Biden is essentially running through our reserves. And so the price of gas is going to go right back to where it was. After the elections, it's purely political what's happening. Another thing that is going to happen is lack of food because of this fertilizer shortage. A huge amount of the world's nitrogen fertilizer is produced in Ukraine and Russia. And because of the war in Ukraine, a lot of countries are not getting the nitrogen fertilizer that they need. And the nitrogen fertilizer is what countries use to produce larger crop yields. So, the third world is going to produce a less of a yield because they're not getting this nitrogen fertilizer. The price of fertilizer has gone up like 60 to 80%. So all these subsistence farmers in the third world who are just barely getting by, they can't afford fertilizer this year because it's gone up like 2x. And so we're just living on the reserves from the previous harvest. So we haven't really seen what it's like to have a lack. There's going to be a meager harvest. Also, there was a lot of rain, bad conditions earlier this year in the springtime. So just across the board, there's going to be less food. There's an attack on the global supply chain system with food. So there's going to probably be mass famine and starvation starting this winter and moving forward, unfortunately, because of this war in Ukraine. So that's what's coming. And, here in the West, we're pretty lucky to have it as good as we do. But another thing that's happening is this runaway inflation. The US dollar is going down. The Fed here in the US keeps raising rates. They raised rates like yesterday, but they can't really stop it. They can't stop this inflation. It's not transitory. So the price of the dollar is going down. Things are, just the average person is the one who's getting crushed. The people, it's going to be like a global economic depression most likely, and there's not much we can do about it. So that is why the world is going to be cold and experiencing a lack. The cold is coming, and what can we do about it? So with cold, you can do one of two things. You can either shy away from it, hunker down, and be passive, or you can be proactive and you can embrace the cold. You can do things in the cold, and the cold kind of makes you stronger. It's really uncomfortable, and it's either you kind of embrace the cold, or allow it to make you stronger, or you shy away from the cold and you do nothing. So I think that we need to become stronger We need to become stronger. Why? So that we can help our family, friends, and community. Because there's a period of chaos incoming, and we need to become strong enough to be able to deal with it. We need to become the leaders of our families, friends, communities. Because who else is going to do it? Do you think anyone is going to help out your family and community? If you're watching this video, chances are you're probably the one who is going to help your family. Who else is going to do it, really? So we need to become stronger so that we can help others, and so that we can endure whatever kind of hardships come and become the leaders to help out and protect what we value. So I think that's the perspective we need to have with this cold winter. We need to embrace the cold. I'm going to continue squatting at 6:30 in the morning, squat rack in the background, because it's in the cold. I could do it later, but I think it's good to do things that are hard in the cold, not because of any real reason besides it's going to make me stronger mentally and physically. So also cold showers, and fasting. Advent is coming up. We're called to fast and do penance during Advent. So you can integrate the cold into that. You don't need to have your house at 70 degrees. You can put it down to 60 or 50. And it's good. It's a good, healthy thing. There's so many health benefits also to cold exposure. I think the mind is a little bit sharper during the cold. You might come up with better ideas in the cold. And there's something, romantic about training through the winter. And there will be, the first half of the winter usually is characterized by, a bunch of feasting. There's Thanksgiving in America, and there is Christmas, and there's all these baked goods and cookies and chocolates. But we can't allow ourselves to indulge too much during the winter. During the winter we need to be becoming stronger. That way in the springtime and summer we'll be actually strong. But during the winter is when it's easy to lose your resolve. It's easy to lose your discipline. I'm looking to put on another 10, 20, 30 pounds onto my squat and bench. I'm looking to bulk up and become as strong as I possibly can. I'm looking to do a 3-day fast during Advent. I'm looking to trying to bulk max, try to get as strong as I can before Lent, and I'll be cutting during Lent. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm trying to double down. I think a lot of people are getting demoralized because of this cold weather, because of the global news, because of all these black pills from the news. People are just consuming all this negative news all the time about how bad things are, the election is rigged, blah, blah, blah. But it's what can you really do about it? You can't do anything. All you can do is become stronger yourself, and then try to become someone who is able to look after your family and friends. Someone who's going to be a leader, who's not going to crack when things get hard, because things will get harder. So it's either you voluntarily embrace the suffering and the cold, or you will be just caught on, you won't be prepared mentally and physically and spiritually when things get harder, because I don't think things are going to get any better anytime soon. So, the hard times that will make us strong are coming, and we need to have this mentality of embracing it rather than running away from it. So, hope you guys like this one. That's kind of my mentality. It's kind of cold in this garage right now, but it's a good thing, and we need to. Rocky IV. Watch the Rocky IV training montage where he's training in the mountains in the cold. I just watched that earlier, and it's got me pretty motivated. I've been thinking about the cold, and there's all kinds of gains to be made spiritually and physically during the cold months. Don't allow yourself to eat too much cookies, pumpkin pie. Within moderation, you got feasts, but you also got fast during Advent. So just don't allow yourself to get complacent during the winter. And as always, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.